Our next speaker is Todd Stone with iCompass. Todd is a founder of iCompass, which is actually a Kamloops-based software as a service company. And when you look at companies, especially from an investment perspective, you always ask a very important question, and that is, who are your customers? Who is going to buy this stuff from you? And Todd has over 400 public sector customers across North America. So very anxious to hear Todd's story on how he got these 400 customers. The title of his talk is Stick to the Plan with Agility. Todd?
Thanks, Mike. It's a great panel, tough acts to follow. First, a couple comments about iCompass. We are based up in Kamloops. We provide a web-based meeting management and tracking system that's used exclusively by public sector organizations. So our customers are primarily local governments, school districts, colleges, universities, and so forth. And when you think about those types of organization, the one thing that they all have in common is they have a lot of meetings. Lots and lots of meetings all the time. And whether things get done or not is another story. But each and every one of those meetings triggers a flurry of activities to create reports. Agendas need to be created and approved ahead of time and distributed to the right stakeholders. Minutes need to be taken. And then there's all kinds of actions that need to be followed up on by the staff and the other various stakeholders throughout that meeting process. And it's a very living, breathing exercise. So we've built a system that has put all of that on the web and makes it really easy for our customers to manage the different aspects of that challenging process. As Mike mentioned, we have 400 accounts across North America. We made the strategic decision in 2007 to launch outside of Canada. We hold about a 25% market share amongst local governments in the Canadian market, which is pretty strong in this market. And so we wanted to move outside of the Canadian context. So we decided to launch into Washington State. This was going to be our launching pad for U.S. expansion. So my points here are really in the context of some of the things we did in those early days to establish credibility in the Washington State market. And in terms of my theme, the stick to the plan with agility, we had what we thought was an exceptional plan. What we learned through the process was we were constantly course correcting on that plan and recognizing that if you're going to fail in any aspect of your plan, it's better to fail fast and regroup and move on. So we got pretty good at that. First thing was, we had our sales team all mobilized to begin marketing efforts in Washington State. We quickly realized that when you don't have any customers in the new market there, the effort needed to be led by more senior representatives in the company for anyone to take you seriously. So the campaign ended up being largely driven by our director of business development, and I involved myself quite extensively as well. Secondly, we were launching the campaign in the early days through a lot of phone calls and emails and faxes and all that kind of stuff from the Kamloops office, and quickly realized that you really need to get yourself down into that market physically. You need to be there. And one of the best pieces of advice I received early on was through the Canadian consulate in Seattle, one of the trade commissioners there. And I strongly encourage you to leverage the resources that are available through the consular offices in the United States. They're really fantastic. They're ramped up to provide all kinds of market data and support. The piece of advice was, Todd, if you want to have any chance in this market, you've got to get your bones into the market here. So what did we do? I took over the campaign, and I spent the equivalent of about 10 weeks in the market, going back and forth, spent about a week at a time. Got to the point where we were starting to generate some buzz, and then moved my family to the Seattle area for 2 months and set up shop, and literally worked out of a condo and hit the pavement. Hired on a contract basis a retired city clerk And if you think that our buyers, the people that make the decisions for our software, the city clerks, the corporate administrators, to have someone on the team that was in her early 60s, retired, worked for 7 different municipalities in the greater Seattle area, knew everybody, largely in a social context. To have her strapped to my hip, driving around the state, knocking down doors for us, was exceptionally effective. The localization was important, and that's really where she came into the equation. And at the end of the day, we also weren't afraid to employ some guerrilla marketing tactics. The average city clerk in the state of Washington, or the target profile customer buyer for us, is a 55 to 60-year-old woman. 89% are in that mold. So there were all kinds of things that we did to specifically target our campaigns with those customers in mind. Even at one point, sending our top 50 accounts, and I'm pleased to report we have about 3/4 of them as customers now. We sent them all. This was after about the 4th or 5th visit, so we're building up relationship and rapport and so forth. We sent them all Mountie dolls. And as hokey as that sounds, if I was to drive around today and visit these folks, they all have them on their desks. And they answer our calls, and they've referred us over and over and over again. So you've got to get yourself down into that market. You've got to build a relationship. You've got to take it really seriously. It can't be done over a phone and through email. Thank you.